Second Chronicles chapter number 20. Second Chronicles chapter number 20. And that's where we're going to be. But to set up this message, I want to preach to you this morning. We're in this process, more than a series, it's a process of learning how to set ourselves up for three things according to Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse number 1, that if we're careful to obey the commands that God has given us today, he promised three things would take place. Number one, four of us, okay. We would live. Number two, we would, and that we would enter in and possess the promises of God that he swore to us, that he gave his word, that we would possess, we would live, we would multiply, and that we would enter in and possess. And I don't know how you feel this morning, but I am fully expected every day to walk into the fullness of God's promises over my life, that I do not want to die and not experience the fullness of life, the fullness of increase, and the fullness of possession. I want to know what that feels like. I want to know what that lives like, and I want to know what that looks like. And he promised in Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 1, that if you and I are careful to obey the commands that he's given us, that we would live, we would multiply, and that we would enter in and possess. We've been in this segment of understanding how to live. What are the commandments that God has for us in order to live in Judah? What is it that God requires of us? What does he want for us? And I knew instinctively by that season of prayer that the Lord wanted me to take us through this journey of understanding how to live in a place called praise. And so last Sunday, we started this. I spent several weeks in the beginning of the year talking about the significance of praise. And now here we are this morning, started last week talking about the dimensions of praise. And last week's message was a message about Zamar praise, a praise with singing and with playing of instruments. That it's not just about coming in and being musical. It's not just about coming in and singing songs to get enough people here to take up the offering, to come in and take up the offering so that the preacher can preach. But there is a specific way, there is a specific type, and there is a specific use for a zamar, a singing or a playing praise. Today, I want us to move into a new dimension of praise, and I want to talk this morning about a Shabach praise. A Shabach praise. Now, this word is very significant to me. This word is a word that I have walked with. I've walked with this word for years now. I've come into this season back in, good Lord, it's probably been 15 years when this word came into my existence. I just began to understand and realize that there is a dimension of a praise called Shabach that does something significant and strategic. And I want you to know that it is important for you to understand that there are a certain type of praise that is required for a certain type of issue. There's a certain type of praise that is required for certain types of issues. And let me give you the definition of the word Shabach. Next weekend, our kids and a lot of us in this room, we're going to our youth conference. And the title of our youth conference, the name of our youth conference is Shabach Youth Conferences. And it's important that we're not just a typical conference. We're not just a normal conference. We're not just a cool conference. But we're a conference that is on purpose, a conference that is strategic in assigning a generation to understand what is required of them. And so we named this some 14, 15 years ago, the name Shabach, because we want them to understand that this is a praise that has to be in their repertoire, because this praise is required for certain obstacles that they're going to face in their life. Let me give you the definition of the word Shabach. The word Shabach, the name Shabach in the Hebrew, it means to commend with a loud, exuberant voice. Another translation calls it a riotous praise. In other words, it is a type of praise that causes something to happen. That it is a type of praise where it forces me to lift my voice in a loud way. But not just a loud way, because there's a lot of us that can yell, but that's not necessarily called praising. There's some of us that instinctively, we cannot have a conversation without us having a loud voice. There's some of us that deal in a loud voice on a consistent way, but it's not important that you have a loud voice. What a Shabbat praise is, it is a loud, exuberant voice that commends something or someone, that commends. It is an exuberant. There is an excitement that comes with that volume. That there is a sound that is increased. There is a crescendo that comes out of us that has exuberance and life with it, that is to commend someone. In other words, it is to bless someone. I'm not raising my voice because I'm the kind of person who just raises my voice. But I'm raising my voice with excitement because I am trying to commend you. It is like a coach that comes in and yelling at a kid, not because of what he did wrong, but he's saying, you can do this. This is about to happen. We're about to step into the room, the atmosphere, the momentum is about to shift, and we're about to experience victory on a way we've never experienced before. And so I'm not raising my voice because of what a kid did wrong, but I'm lifting my voice because of what a kid did right. I am admonishing him. I am commending him. I'm grabbing him by his face mask on the football field, and I'm pulling him close to me, telling him, you're about to do something great. And my voice is lifted. I am shabaching. I am commending him towards victory, not just yelling at him towards his stupidity. It is a riotous praise. It is a loud, exuberant voice that commends, and it incites what one definition describes as a riot. In other words, it's the kind of praise that causes a stirring. It's the kind of praise that moves the one that you're commending. It's the kind of praise that forces activity because it is being given. That's why Vince and the worship team this morning ended our worship set with this kind of Shabach praise, because number one, you need to understand, point number one that I'm going to give you is this is a necessary praise. That there are some situations in our lives that require a loud, exuberant commend to God. I'm going to prove it to you in a second. There are some types of praise that is required because there are some types of obstacles that will not move any other way. This is a necessary praise. Now, for those of you that are quiet and you're reserved, this is going to be an issue for you this morning. Those of you that are naturally introverted, like myself, believe it or not, very, very introverted, very, very quiet. We're sitting at a concert earlier this week, and we're on the front row, and you got this guy standing up there that is internationally known, and he's making fun of my coat, but then he's talking about dancing, and he's looking right at me, and I'm going, who, me? You want me to dance? Now I can be stupid. But my instinct is to be reserved. My instinct is introverted. I'm going to keep close. As a matter of fact, Em and I, through the years, 19 years of marriage, going on 20 in August, and through the years, we've gone on cruises, and we've done these things, and Em is the kind of person that all you got to do is play the music, and it doesn't even matter what kind of music it is. It can be country music, it can be Latin music, it can be hip-hop, it can be karaoke. It can be anything. And she like, boom, let's go. Hey.